Let's unbox this gorgeous bullet journal together. Fun fact, when Ryder Carroll, creator of the bullet journal, ran his first Kickstarter ever, I was one of his supporters. I got the very first official bullet journal, and call me a dork, I have never opened it. This is it. This is the bullet journal that came from Ryder Carroll's Kickstarter. I don't know, for some reason I thought it's going to be very important someday, and so I couldn't bring myself to open it, so I still have it sealed in. And since that time, Ryder Carroll came out with version 2.0, which is enhanced and has a lot of subtle but very helpful design features to his notebook. So I decided to get this beautiful 2.0 bullet journal, and today we're going to open it together. So as I mentioned, when Ryder Carroll came out with his first bullet journal, he ran a Kickstarter, and that very first bullet journal was made with Leuchtturm 1917 notebook, and ever since then it is always made with the same notebook. Ryder and Leuchtturm have a collaboration going, and so every bullet journal that you get from him is made with Leuchtturm 1917 A5 notebook. And for a while Ryder made only black bullet journals, and then several years ago he started releasing a new edition every year. Basically every year you could get a different color. There was a blush one, I believe, very first time that he did it, which I also got, but I ended up giving it in a giveaway. And since then I didn't get any other colors because I switched to other notebooks. But I've been really drawn to bullet journal this year. I guess we all go through these waves when you get into a lot of different variety, and then you kind of looking for simpler things. So I feel like I'm entering that era where I want to try something very, very simple, and bullet journal is as simple as they come, and that is by design, because it's supposed to help you reflect on your life, offload some of the anxiety, and kind of get to know yourself without being too overwhelmed with all of the details. Now this bullet journal is one of the special editions. I believe it came out last year. If it's different, I'll put it on the screen, but I had my eye on it for a while because, I mean, look at this gorgeous color. This mossy green, which is so calming, and cover has these gorgeous flowers. Now this, what you see here, is actually not a notebook, it's the case that the notebook comes in, this beautiful box. So this notebook is not just very useful and very functional, it also makes a great gift if you're considering giving one. I got this one directly from a bullet journal website, and look how pretty. I'm so impressed with it already. So now, without further ado, let's open it up. So I quickly correct myself. Here on the label it actually says it is 2022 edition, and it's called Artist, obviously, with these beautiful flowers. So let's open the box. And there's the journal, same design. How beautiful. This is so gorgeous. So pretty. Such a solid journal too. Leuchtturm uses a pretty thick paper, and therefore the journal is pretty weighty and has a nice number of pages. I don't know all the counts on top of my head, so I'll put them up on the screen. Alright, so as you can see, it is this beautiful mossy green. It has flowers on the top and it has a bullet journal embossed in here. It has elastic to keep it enclosed, which I always loved about notebooks. And when you open it up, you will see that it also has page markers here, and it comes with 3 different ones. They're all matching the overall aesthetic. You have a white one, you have just this mossy green one, and then you have white and green stripes. Really beautiful, and of course matches the notebook perfectly. Now when we open the notebook, first you see a little instruction notebooks here. It tells you that this notebook is made by Leuchtturm 1917. It shows you that each corner of the page is numbered, so that's something Leuchtturm is known for. Their pages are numbered. Not every notebook or even bulleted notebook has page numbers on it. And then it just shows you some of the notebook. So this one is in German, and I think yeah, so inside here it's the instructions in English. So just describes you the notebook. And then you also have basically like a quality card. Says thank you in 3 different languages. And inside here you see what makes the 2.0 version different from the one that I showed you in the very beginning. First, bullet journal was just a plain notebook designed to be a bullet journal with the index page and all of that. But in 2.0 edition, and this specific one is not the first one that had this in it, you see all the guides for the number of the dots for your bullet journal. I guess before I talk about these lines here, let me explain real quick what bullet journal is for. Bullet journal is a mindfulness tool that pretends to be a productivity tool. That is a very indirect quote from Ryder Carroll, who created the system. And thing about bullet journal, it is blank notebook that you can make into planner that you need. You can make it very simple, just the way the original bullet journal was, where you just note the things that happen throughout your day, write your to-dos, appointments, events, things like that. Or you can do more complex and draw out actual calendars in there, trackers. You can do art. I mean, people take bullet journal all the way to like complete art pieces, but at the heart, bullet journal was very simple, just daily logging of what's happening in your life, so then you can review and reflect on it. Now, with the whole make your own planner out of the bullet journal in mind, in this edition of bullet journal, Ryder provided the measurements of if you wanted to draw up certain boxes of certain length, fit so many columns on the page, and so on and so forth. This edition provides you with a count of how many dots the page contains lengthwise, how many widthwise, to divide page in half, how many you need to divide page in thirds, where you need to be to divide page in 6s and 12ths and so on. So it gives you measurement as far as doing it vertically, and the same thing horizontally. So these are very, very helpful. They help you out without having to constantly count in your head how much you need to divide your page in half or in thirds. That's what this is for. It was a major addition to the bullet journal, and even though it might not look like a big deal, it is a very thoughtful addition that a lot of bullet journalers really appreciate, because especially if you create boxes or any kind of layouts in your bullet journals that are beyond just handwriting, you want to know how many dots across and how many dots tall your page is. And this guides here help you out with that. And here on this page you find Ryder's idea behind the bullet journal. You bullet this intersection between what and why. The bullet journal system is really big on what you do and why you do it. And actually one of the things he encourages you to do when you start a bullet journal is to figure out why you're starting it, what your purpose for it is, and what you're trying to achieve with your journal. So moving on to the next page, you have your regular pages that are glued in together. Then here it says it's limited artist edition, art by anywhere, and talks a little bit about this artist, which is really nice. Here just 3 lines, very simple for you to write what you need: your name, your phone number, your email, your address, what have you. Or you can just write the year that you're starting this journal in, open for you to put whatever you feel is needed there. And then on here you have the key. So when you journal in a bullet journal is a system, and it uses keys to rapid log. So when you're making entries in your daily journal, for example, today in the morning I ate eggs and ham, I was late to my work, I had migraine as soon as I woke up, I have doctor's appointment at 2 p.m. Annie helped me out this afternoon, she's such a sweet person. Just things like that, anything from memories, events, appointments, just thoughts. When you enter them, when you write them down, for them not to run into just one block of text and actually have some definition between what these different notes are, Ryder came up with a key. And in the bullet journal system, keys are such, let me bring it up. The dot is the task, and then when you complete it, you cross that dot if you need to migrate it, meaning if you cannot do this task that day that you planned and you're moving it to the next day or day forward, you put the arrow on that dot, basically showing that it was migrated forward. The arrow that points back, meaning you're gonna schedule it on your monthly calendar. Moving it back, it doesn't mean it moves back in time, it basically moves on to your either yearly or your monthly view versus the next day. Then when you strike out, that means it was canceled, so it wasn't done. The dash is a note, the circle is event, and the star is a priority. And from the videos I watched from Ryder, he also recently added another key, which is an equal sign, and that is for you to describe how you're feeling. So basically for feelings, emotions, things like that. And one thing to remember is these are suggested keys. These are keys that Ryder uses, and these keys that make sense to him. If you for yourself identify these same things differently, you can change the key. You don't have to do his key. This is just what he suggests would work for him. For example, I've seen a lot of people use square for task, and when task is half done, they half cross it. If it's completely done, they either cross it out or they fill it in, and if they move it, they make like an arrow in it. So you can use not necessarily dot, you can use a square. For example, me, for priority, I use exclamation point. For me, it's kind of like more meaningful. It draws my attention more. Again, it's all personal preference. Ryder over and over says that he designed the system to be flexible and to serve you. So whatever you need, whatever works for you from his exact system, use it. Whatever you need to change to serve you better, do it. It's not a gospel, it's just a system that's trying to be helpful for you to be mindful and also productive and be able to reflect on your life and your day, and kind of like watch your habits, watch patterns in your life. I mean, it's a very, very simple but very deep system, and Ryder actually wrote a book about it, the bullet journal method. I highly recommend it. I actually want to get it in paper. I originally got it in audio, and it's Ryder who's reading it himself. And it's the calmest, more peaceful book I've ever listened to. I actually re-listened to it a lot of times just to put me in like a thoughtful mode. It's fantastic, and I highly recommend it in whatever version you're going to get it in. And then here, also a page that used to not be there before, if I remember correctly, and this one is intentions. If you watch any of the Ryder's videos about starting a bullet journal, he would always say that the good idea when you're starting a journal is to have an intention or write out intention for this specific journal. A lot of times when we get journals or planners and we hop from one to another, it's because when we got it, we actually didn't know why we got it, what we got it for. I can personally attest, a lot of times I would get a planner or notebook because it's really cute and I really want to have it, but actually I don't know what I'm going to use it for. I'm sure you will hear it in a lot of my videos, and you'll hear it in a lot of videos from other planner community peeps who would say, I don't know yet what I'm going to use this planner for, but I just wanted to get it, right? So one of the ways to kind of like stick to bullet journal practice is to set your intention for what this bullet journal is going to be for. People use it for different things. Some people use it just for their health. Some people use it just for their work. Some people use it as a mindfulness tool. Some people use it for creativity, or the mix of any of those things. So one of the things to do before you start it is to sit down and really think through what you want to do with this journal, why you're starting it, and write it out here for yourself. So then every time you open your journal, you can see, oh, this is why I started this journal. Because sometimes you're like, why am I doing this, right? After a while, we sometimes might go, why did I get this? Like, why am I doing this every day? You can go back to your intentions and you will see, yeah, that's right. That's why I wanted to start this journal to begin with, right? To note, there are page numbers at the bottom. Page numbers start from the first page. So this is 1, 2, 3, and so on. So all of the pages are numbered. And then after your intentions, you have index. So what index is, and by the way, I don't know if you can see, but yeah, all of these are basically light gray dotted pages. And what index is for in Ryder's system, when you note things every day, part of the bullet journal is not just to note stuff as they happen, but also look back on them and reflect. And sometimes when you have a notebook that this big, how many pages are in here? Over 200 pages, you might forget, or you will forget, where something you remembered or something you want to note is located, on which page is it if you want to reference it. So to avoid your information being lost in your own notebook, you have an index. And what index is, at its basic, is that you will write out the theme basically of what you're writing, and then you're going to put page that it's on. So for example, you can say birthdays, dates with friends, concerts, books I read, meaningful thoughts, song quotes, whatever. It can be whatever you want. And then every time you journal about one of these categories, you will put comma and then page number of where that thing appears. So then if, for example, you want to recall all the song quotes or all the poetry that you've ever noted down, you just look here, you're like, okay, poetry, page 25, 39, 51, and you can go to that page, find it, and then you will see that memory or that note or that recipe that you were trying to find will be on that page. So that's what index is for. Your index can be very simple. Again, depends on what your journal is about. Your index can have 5 things or it can have 60 things. So because of that, in this journal you have 1, 2, 3, 4 pages for index. So you can be very detailed in what you're indexing. It's basically like table of contents for your journal. Like if it was a book of dozens of stories, your 4-page index allow you to go as detailed as you want for the type of things you write down in your notebook. Alright, next one is a future log. So in original notebook, I believe it was just blank and then you will write out by hand future log. Here it's already pre-planned for you, so this version looks like it has a lot of steps already built in, so you don't have to learn everything or do everything from scratch. You already have things preset for you from the bullet journal system, like key and index and intention and now future log. And what future log is, it's basically a list of what's going to happen in the future as you go through the year. You can have future log in many different shapes. You can have, divided up to have a square for each month. You can have column for each month. You can have a row for each month. You can write it freely. Basically, this is where you're going to write out, okay, in April 5th, I have someone's birthday, or September 9th, I have a wedding to attend. So any kind of future events, appointments, anything like that, you can put it in the future log. Again, you can use it depending on how you want it. Keep it customized. I would keep on referring to Ryder Carroll and his channel, Bullet Journal, and his videos to explain that in detail, and also to his book. But this is just how I understand it. Again, it can also be used however you see it fit. Future log, depending on size that you dedicate to each month, can be 2-page spread or 4-page spread. So it looks like there are 4 pages dedicated to future log here. And then we arrive to the rest of bullet journal. So the rest of this notebook gonna be just this, plain bulleted pages with number on the bottom. Now, to explain you how thoughtful and detailed Ryder is as a designer, this edition has several things that if you don't look closely you might miss, but they're here and they're very thoughtful and they're here for a purpose. I hope it comes across on the camera. So each page in this journal doesn't just have the bullets or page numbers, it also has a guide to help you divide pages into equal parts more easily. So if you look closely, right in the middle of the page there are double dots. So these double dots, or 2 dots next to each other, they delineate exactly the middle of the page horizontally. There are also double dots on the bottom here as well, and they do the same thing, delineate the half of the page vertically. On the top of that there are triple dots here and here, also here and here, and they're designed to help you divide page in thirds. So if you want to, for example, have 9 squares on this page, divided for 9 days, 9 months, what have you, you can draw here and here, and then here and here, and you will have a perfectly 9 equal rectangles on this page. So then you don't have to keep on sitting and counting the dots. You can just use the guides and draw it up and divide it however you want. Because bullet journal is such a flexible tool, you can subdivide it however you feel like and use whatever layouts you want in here. Some of the common layouts that I've seen people do in bullet journal are monthly calendars, and it can be a regular calendar that you used to, on the wall calendars. You can make it Monday start, you can make it Sunday start, however you want. You can also make monthly as vertical lines. You can also make monthly as very simple, the way Ryder does it, and it's literally just writing out 1 through 31, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on, day of the week next to that date. just a vertical, very simple, 2 columns, and then next to each one on the line you will write what's going to happen on that day. And that kind of a monthly layout, you can use it either for future purposes. Okay, you will say write out what appointments you have or events and things like that, or you can use it as memory keeping tool kind of in reverse. So after the day is done, in the end of the day, you can write out on that day's line kind of like the one main memory or one main important things that happened that day. So you can use it like that. Another type of layout is a weekly, and there are so many weekly layouts I cannot even explain you. You can see the same thing like in ring planners, right? There are so many weekly layouts depending on a preference, right? You can have your horizontal weeklies. So for example here, because you can divide these pages into 3 with these guides, you can use you can divide each of these pages in 3. And then you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday here, Thursday, Friday, and then use the half mark here to divide it into Sunday and Saturday, for example. Or you can use this in 3 and divide it into vertical weeks and do Saturday and Sunday here. Or you can make smaller boxes, you can make it just with dots. I mean, there are millions of ways of how you can create your weekly layouts. And of course, there are also daily layouts. Ryder Carroll's daily is very simple. You just write the date and the day of the week, and then you just start rapid logging. You will write, this is my appointment, this is kind of the memory note, this is 3 to-dos that I need to do, this is the event I'm going to, and here are my impressions from that event, here's my feelings about the birthday party I went to. Just stuff like that. Very, very simple. Really no frills. Just pen and notebook. That's it. And then there are daily layouts that people have created that you will see that have boxes drawn out and washi tape and stickers and art, and they can be as complex as you want them to be or simple as you want them to be. A lot of times people are intimidated to start a bullet journal because they feel like, oh, if I'm gonna start a bullet journal, it has to be a piece of art like I see online. But it is not true. Bullet journal is what you need it to be. If you want it to be just a book full of to-do lists, then let it be that. If you want it to be journal about your day, you can have your to-dos on the top and write your feelings about the day on the bottom, do that. If you want it to be just full of trackers for your health, do that. It can be whatever you need it to be. That is the beauty of the bullet journal. It's a flexible tool. And one can argue, well, in the end of the day, it's just a blank notebook. Can I just use any notebook? Yes, you can. And Ryder Carroll himself says that you can use any notebook you want. But he wanted to relate is bullet journal is a system, not necessarily a notebook. It happens to be in a notebook that you can get from bullet journal to help you out, to get into the system, but you don't have to use his notebook. In fact, if you feel like A5 notebook is too much space, you can get a pocket-sized Leuchtturm or A6-, that's what they call it. And you can bullet journal in that. You don't have to have an A5 notebook from bullet journal or from Leuchtturm for that matter. You can have a line one if you want. It can be just any blank notebook that you use to log your day and then reflect on that day in the end of the day or in the end of the week or in the end of the month. It's up to you. So as I mentioned, so the rest of the notebook is basically just blank pages. And the way bullet journal works, you rapid log your things and then you flip to the next page and then you go on. And if you want to create something what they call collection, for example, books to read, you can create a collection of books here. Write the list of books you've been hearing on the internet and you start writing them down. Then you know that number in your index saying books to read. And then you can continue your daily logging here, or you can dedicate this page to movies to watch and then you flip to the next page and then you start logging next day. It doesn't have to be sequential. You don't have to have like all the weekly layouts and all the monthly layouts and all the daily. You can intersperse them with each other. It's up to you. If that kind of combination of things drives you crazy, then yeah, you can pre-draw all your monthlies and pre-draw all your weeklies and then do dailies in the end. Or you can do them the way Ryder does and he just flips to the next page and continues going there. And then if we flip to the back of this, so in the back here, You have a gusseted pocket here in the back and a few things that this edition comes with. So this is your pocket. You can put here whatever you need. It can be receipts or photos or notes, whatever that you need. It also comes with this bullet journal mini book, and this book here describes you the methodology. Whatever I've covered here, I've covered just a little bit, but this one goes into detail, your whole what and why, the system and the practice, teaches you how to set up your index, teaches you about your future log. As you can see, this one is just very simple rectangles for every month, and then you write what's going to happen in that month. Here it shows you the vertical monthly log. As I mentioned, just write dates and then days of the week next to it. And then I forgot to mention, so when you write your monthly on this side, at least that's what Ryder does, you write kind of goals for that month, and then you can move them onto the dailies or weeklies as you go through the month and complete your tasks. And then over here it tells you how to do your daily rapid logging. As you can see, January 1st, Monday, and then you have the tasks to do, you have event, you have notes. So basically very simple. That's how basic bullet journal method works. And then he talks about it a little bit more here, just different examples, how to reflect in the morning, what to do throughout the day, and then evening reflection as well. And then also monthly reflection. He has like this flow chart here of how that whole thing works together when you go from dailies to weeklies to monthlies, how you reflect, how you improve going forward based on reflection of your own notes. That's why he says, I believe, mindfulness system disguised as a productivity system, and just tells you, next steps, talks about his book and his website, and there is a phone app that goes together with it. He also has a course and community. Highly recommend. If you're seeking mindfulness, it's a wonderful place to be. And then on the top of that, in this edition, you also get stickers. And these are also very thoughtful and very minimal. I really like, they're very clean. So here you have your dates. So when you do your vertical monthly, if you hate writing out 31 tiny numbers vertically, you just grab this strip, pull it off, and place it into your notebook. And then here you have days of the week. Of course, you will need to find the correct place to align your date with the day of the week, but then you cut it and then you paste it at the bottom to have it correctly aligned. And then you have these little lightning bolts. So Ryder actually, I was watching a video of him, the way he uses them. He does not necessarily use this in his journal. He also uses them on his everyday items. He would stick it on his phone or a coffee mug or a computer screen, and they are kind of like a reminder. When he sees it, it reminds him to be mindful or pause or something like that. So you can use it for you either in your journal or for yourself outside of your journal, to maybe every time you look at it, or it reminds you to be mindful or to take a breather, or maybe look inside your journal and reflect, stuff like that. And then over here you have stickers with months. So you have 2 of each, 2 Januaries, 2 February, 2 Marches, and you can use them however you want. If you want to create tabs, you can use them. If you want to do it for your monthly monthly log and then a future log, you can use it like that as well. So very useful, very clean, very minimal. I always love that about bullet journal. The whole system is very peaceful. And the first time when I found Ryder Carroll, and that was the reason why I supported his campaign, his Kickstarter at that time, is it was time in my life when I was seeking peacefulness. I was seeking establish peace of mind and just find some kind of center in my life. And his methodology really spoke to me of how simple, straightforward, and mindful it was. And ever since then, everything he comes up with is so completely thought out. You can see how much thought he puts behind every tiny thing. Even this notebook, it can seem like very simple, straightforward notebook, but just all these little things, every time you open the notebook, you find and you notice the thought that he put into creating the system to be as helpful as possible without being overbearing. So this is the unboxing of this gorgeous artist version of bullet journal. So it's 2022 edition. Even though all the edition used to sell out and you weren't able to get them anymore, this one is available on his website. I'll put links to everything in description down below so you can check out for yourself. I will also link to bullet journal's YouTube channel, website, and Ryder Carroll's community if you want want to check those out. Hopefully this was helpful, and if you like these kind of videos, please like, please subscribe, and in the comments down below, please let me know if you are a bullet journal user. What is your favorite thing about it? What is the notebook that you use in your bullet journal? And I will see you in the next video, and until then, you take care.